Now the one that I'm going to use first of all is the beautiful Christmas Angel. So this is how it will come to you. So you will get your embossing folder just like this. And if I lift that up, I'm just going to turn it to its side so I can get it all on. Or you can see my little paper bits when I've been die cutting. I'll get rid of those in a minute. But this is the side that we're looking at as well. So you get your embossing folder this side and you're getting some embossing detail here. But can you see all this? Now this is not cardstock that's being left in. It's like a felt. Like a sponge that's in there that helps to die cut, because don't forget this is embossing and die cutting at the same time, because it's got some metal in here as well, which creates that cut out element. And I'll explain more as we're demoing. Let me just get rid though of my little spare bits of white. I've been busy well, I couldn't stop playing, to be honest, because I absolutely love them. I think they're fabulous, these. But these are treated the same way that you would do with a normal standard embossing folder. So for that, when we're talking about the plates that we need for the combination of our Gemini machines, it's your standard cutting plates that you have for your embossing folder. So that's just your 2 plates with your folder sandwiched in between with your cardstock, and then the one on the top. Now if you've got other manual machines, and I know that there's a lot of you out there that love the Gemini as much as I do, as much as Sarah does and Leanne does and everyone else in the team love, but yes, use it in the standard way that you would use to use your ordinary embossing folders. So that goes by the by for any of your machines that you're using. However, because we're using a Gemini, and that's what I'm going to do now, we're going to die cut. Let me just make sure. Oh, it's there, look. What am I like? Right, so I've cut back a piece of cardstock down to 5 by 5, okay? And I'm going to run that through. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to place it in. Now, if you were using a mirror card or a patterned cardstock, you would have that this way. So for that, what I mean by is if you've got coloured cardstock, you would have it facing there with the metal die facing down to cut into it. However, that's just one I've prepped earlier. So let me just pop that in the middle, and I'm going to cut this now. So I'm going to place that on the top, and then we're just going to run that through. Now, can you see what I mean? One pass with an ordinary embossing folder combination, and we'll do all the work. It will cut and it will emboss at the same time, and I'll show you in a moment. Now then, let me just grab and stretch this way. Oh, let's stretch out the other end just so I can show you. When you unveil that, then that's, well, you can see, look, it's just dropped out. So all that has done has embossed the detail. I don't know if you can see there, it's embossed there, and then we've got all this cut out detail as well. So you can see, ooh, there you can see my little finger, cut out and embossed in one fell swoop. As easy as that, and that's as hard as it gets. The next bit is all down to what you enjoy and the creative fun that you can have using your inks, using your sparkle pens, using your colouring medium, anything you want, using your patterned papers, your coloured papers, anything you want, you're going to be able to use in one pass, one cut, embossed and cut through. And that for me is just, it just blows my mind every time I look at it. And that's what I love about cutting emboss folders. I'm a big lover of embossing folders full stop anyway. But the fact that we've got embossing folders that cut at the same time, just amazing. So let's just move that to one side. Now what I will tell you is I have taken some inspiration from this gorgeous card. I'm just this one here. I've taken some inspiration from this one. And it's one of the diorama cards. So if anybody ever made a diorama card before? I was lucky enough to be demonstrating this weekend up at Preston, and we did this. So to do a diorama card, you're just going to take 2 sheets of cardstock exactly the same. Okay, so if I just pop that down, and I'll tell you how I've cut it. I've cut the size to 9.5 by 7, and then I've scored at 1 inch and 2 inch, and then flipped it around and scored 1 inch and 2 inch again. And I've done that on both sets. And then all you do is you fold that over using your bone folder and fold that back to give yourself your burnished lines. And you're going to do that on all 4 sides so that it creates, let me just see if you can see there, it creates that diorama side. Now then, that's exactly the same that you're going to do with the other one, and that creates almost like a box as such, but that's what creates it. However, because we've got this wonderful cut and emboss folder, you can cut through straight through. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to run that one through again, and I'm just going to place that in the middle. There we go. So I'm just place that just in the middle, and this will create me aperture as well, because I want it to be a see-through aperture. So that's going to create, just by popping that on and running that through again, exactly the same combination, your 2 platforms that you would use for your normal, everyday 2D folder, the 2 cutting plates in case of the Gemini. Now then, that will have cut through lovely again, because we've already seen it cut through once, and now it's done exactly the same. Let me just pop my bits out. Let me just take my poke. Well, don't drop your pokey tool, Debbie. That'd be a good start. Just hang fire with me 1 second while I go and grab that off the floor, she says. Oh, and I would have got it stuck in rug. There we go. Right, so let me just poke out all those bits. There we are. Right, and get rid of all my rubbish as well at the same time. There we are. So that has now created that lovely see-through elements and the aperture to what I want to get my card. So if I just show you, let me just take that forward a little bit so that you can see where we're going. And that's how you get that lovely aperture, okay? And then what we have is the fun of decorating it. So I've just used our water reactive Harmony ink pads. That's a mouthful. Let me just cut out. Water reactive ink pads. It's the Harmony ink pads. And I've just chosen the greens for this. And literally, all I've used is Spring Meadow, Grasshopper, Pine Tree. Bearing in mind we've got 36 in that collection, you can choose whatever you want. Now I'm not going to colour this bit. The bit that I want to colour is the bit that I've cut out, the panel that's going to go on the top. And that's just going to fit straight over the top, so that it creates that lovely see-through element there. Now then, that's that one. So I'm just going to take off first of all, and I'm using my sponges today. So I'm just going to take that on, and all you're going to do is literally pop that onto your embossing folder, and you're going to get all that lovely detail. Let me just grab my tissue. I need a piece of tissue because this is a water reactive ink pad, and I am very hot today. So if I put my sweaty prints on there, I'm going to lift this colour because it does react with the water. With the inks. So just take that around, and then just literally all the way around. And then what you can do is just build up your colour using all your other greens or whatever chosen colour you want. On this occasion, I'm using Spring Meadow, Grasshopper and Pine Tree. That's the lovely verdant greens in the collection. I'm just going to place that all on, all the way around. And then I'm going to add the next colour and build that up. And that's as simple as this is going to be, literally. You just literally, and what it's doing, because it is an embossing folder, it's catching all the bits that you want it to catch. So let me just take that around and go all the way around again. There we go. So again, just all the way around. Oh, it's gorgeous. I love these greens. Normally, I'm not a green fan. I usually steer clear of greens. However, they are beautiful, the greens. They are lovely. It's nice to come out your comfort zone now and again. Usually, I use pinks and purples, but it's nice to come out your comfort zone. And you're just going to blend that all the way around. And if I carry on, what you'll end up with, let me just show you in a minute, you'll end up with this one. And that's what I've done. So I've just carried on taking it all the way around, and all you keep doing is blending it until you're happy with your blends and happy with the colours that you've got. However, I want to try and cram as many demos as I can in, but this is the result you're going to get. Now, if you're wondering why it's got this darker tone, I've used one of our Pebeo gilding waxes just over the top, and I've just used a bit of gold and run that all the way across to highlight that a little bit more. So if I just take a close-up so that you can see what I mean, there we go. Can you see that now? That looks really lovely. Now, I could colour the angel in using the either inks or the gilding waxes, but I'm going to leave her like that because I quite like her like that. So let me just pop on the inks that I pop them on, just pop them to one side for a second. And then let's put a card together. Now then, if you are watching, I think we'll do a giveaway. I think we'll do a giveaway towards the end. So pop on your comments. Let me know what it's like over at your neck of the woods. Let me know what you think of these wonderful folders. Just let me know how you are in general, if that's what you want to do. But what we'll do is at the end, we'll have a look through, and I think we'll give a giveaway. We'll do a giveaway. Depending on how many we get through, we might do more than one. Let's see how we get on. Right, so what I'm going to do is, that's the card that I did first, that I die cut through, and what I want to do is just add a little bit of cardstock. So I've taken just a bit of our craft card here, and I've run it through one of my other embossing folders, and I'm just going to use my glue, and I'm using all-purpose glue for this one. I want a bit of wiggle time to get this stuck together. So I'm going to place that on the top. There we go. I'm happy with that one. And you've got that lovely wiggle time so that you can position it into place before it sets like cement, because it really is wonderful glue. So I'm happy with that one. What I want to do now is join the two cards together. So to join them together, what you need to do is put some either tape or glue down this side, excuse me, and tape or glue down that side. So I'm going to use the wet glue again. And again, it just gives me that bit of position time to line it up and get it into place. So I'm just going to position that there and stick those two together, so the edge to edge, and let that set that glue. But you can, like I said, because you've got that wiggle time, you can get it into place, and it only takes a few seconds for that to set. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. Just pop that on, and then pop those two together as well, and that seals your card together. So I'm just going to place that into, there we are, that's fine. Right, so that gives me that box feature. If I just show you, there you go, just by sticking those two panels together there, just together. Now then, what we're going to do is we're going to place the panel that I've put and that I've already pre-inked just on the top. Now if you wanted, you could have a little bit of a drop shadow effect by moving it down a little bit to create a little bit of a background. However, I'm just going to use that just on the top. Now for this one, I need my tacky glue. Let me just bend over and grab my tacky glue, just because there's a little bit more precision detail. So I'm going to use a bit of precision. Oh, she said if my glue hadn't dried up. It's that hot, it's drying my glue up. So pop that just going around the edge, because it's got that lovely bit of detail. But then for the rest of it, I'm going to use my wet glue. And again, just gives me that little bit of a wiggle time to get it into position and get it into place. So let's pop that on and place that over. And then you're just going to line that up. And because this does flatten, you can flatten it down. So it's perfect for posting. Don't worry about postage or things like that, because it will flatten down. Although it is nice concept card, it does flatten, either flat like that or with the sides pushed in. There we go. So I'm quite happy with how that is. In fact, I've just seen that that little bit's not poked out. Let me get that little bit, just move that out of the way. There we go. Fabulous. Right, so just adhering that on. And then I'm just going to add, and what I've done here, if I just explain, I have just used, I ran it through, so the bit here that I've already pre-done, I've used again for a couple of little side panels just to pop on the top, and they're just going to sit perfectly there to match up. And again, I'm just going to take my runny glue, or when I say runny glue, my all-purpose collard glue, again just on the side, and just want to decorate it on the tab at the end, and exactly the same on the other side. But just think of all your papers that you could use that you've got. You don't have to emboss it if you don't want to. I just wanted to use this together to bring it in so that it all matched, like I said. And then I've just added a few little bits. You have to excuse me while I just open my bag. I'm forever losing bits, so whenever I cut bits out when I'm prepping, I make sure they go in a little plastic bag just to keep them nice and safe so I don't lose them. But again, then we're just going to place, and I've used a Christmas Peace on Earth collection from the sentimentals that we had recently, and I'm just going to place that on the side. Let's put a few little conifer leaves just round edge, and that's just, let's pop a few more on. Right, so just lift that off for a second, just until I'm happy with where I've put everything. A couple of little twiglets. Let's pop, oops, without dropping it. And then just until you're happy with what you've got on and where you're putting it, don't stick that right down, because the tacky glue doesn't stick straight away. It does give you a little bit of time as well, but it is another fantastic glue for construction and holding things into place. Now I'm quite happy with that. I'm not going to add anything else to it, and let me just show you. There you go. Nice, quick, simple card that didn't take that long. I know I've done a bit of prepping, but you have got the facility to be able to do this with that cut and emboss folder, one pass through, and then get creative using your inks and things like that.